Little down. Hona le line ya mafighter mo. E tswile mo tafoleng. Can you move this side? Can you move your chairs this side? And all fighters sitting here. The fighters here must move this side, and all those who are sitting in this middle row must move their chairs a little bit this side so that you accommodate other fighters. Secondly, the student command. The student command must come here in front. They must sit here in front. The student command, non-voting delegates. You are expected to sit in front here. Come. Fighters, there are chairs here. There are 2 chairs. Where there are open spaces, please just come. We are going to put a table here in front to accommodate around 20 or so people here in front. So for the fighters who are standing there at the back, let's try to move our chairs inside the tables. All delegates are expected to be seated. All delegates are expected to be seated as we are about to start with the assembly. Fighters, all delegates must have tags with them, with their IDs. All delegates must have tags with their IDs because DOR will be starting to verify all delegates inside the PPA. So all of you make sure that you have your tag with you. PCT members in front here. Media, there are chairs and tables here in front on my left, on my right. And on my left side is the student command, and here in front is PCT members. Let's have a revolutionary song.
Amandla! Amandla! Viva EFF! Viva! 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 Amandla! 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 Bopha! Comrades, please let me sing it for you because I can see you can't sing. Oh, ibambe. Ah, ibambe. Ah, ibambe. Ah, ibambe. Yo, esepamo. Alabafana sesenkomboza. Julius Malema esepamo. Alabafana sesenkomboza. Julius Malema ayibambe. Ayibambe niwe mbokota ayibambe ayibambe iyo esepamo alabafaze sesenkomboza Winnie Mandela esepamo alabafaze sesenkomboza Winnie Mandela ayibambe ayibambe niwe vota ayibambe ayibambe iyo esepamo alabafana sesenkomboza Julius Malema esepamo alabafana sesenkomboza Julius Amandla awemzansi Afrika awoyezwe lethu awoyezwe lokhokho awahaya mabhono awemzansi Afrika awoyezwe lethu awoyezwe lokhokho awuyikhoni EFF awizobashaya awuzungakhali awuwemntomnyama awuyikhoni EFF awizobashaya awuyikhoni EFF awu-eshayayo awuwena ramandranse uzoyithetha inyanezo. Okay, fighters, what is going to happen now? Each region is going to sing a revolutionary song for us. Those things of who are you supporting, you are going to do it in a ballot paper, not here in the conference. So let us start. Pujanala will give us a song. After Pujanala, Ngaka will give us a song. After Ngaka, Dr. KK, and then Dr. Ruth Azishe. Pujanala. I'm bringing the national chairperson now. So Pujanala, where's Credo?
I'm here.
Yes.
Yes.
Shoot, my man.
Is this one working? But I must switch it on. Yeah, wabere. Sihlangene zonke bonke jikelele zonke bonke jikele yenethanda nonke jikelele zonke bonke sihlangene zonke bonke jikele zonke bonke jikele yenethanda nonke jikelele zonke bonke jikelele zonke bonke jikelele zonke bonke jikelele yenethanda nonke jikelele zonke bonke jikelele zonke bonke jikelele zonke bonke jikelele yenethanda nonke jikelele bonke bonke sihlangene sonke bonke jikele sonke bonke jikele yenethanda nonke jikelele sonke bonke jikelele sonke bonke jikele sonke bonke jikele yenethanda nonke Tio, tio, tio mama tio, 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 tio mama tio. Warekya chanawe, kya belabe. Warekya chanawe, kya belabe. Wareke kopote khae, Zimbabwe, habo Mugabe. Bareke khopote khae Zimbabwe habo Mugabe bareke chanawe kabelabe bareke chanawe kabelabe bareke khopote khae Limpopo habo Chuchu Bareke khopote khae Limpopo habo Chuchu Mandla
Chio, chio, chio mama chio, 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 chio ishubile, chio ihlangene, sibona lezinja, zinja zamaphulu. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe ma, motolo ngakhala. Awe ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe ma, mutolo ngakhala. Awe ma. Tolo ngakhala. Sulezwe nyembezi. Iyezi socialism. Awe ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe ma, mutolo ngakhala. Awe ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe ma, mutolo ngakhala. Awe ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe ma, mutolo ngakhala. Awe ma. Kithi nansi melo yellow man. Chesa. Kithi nansi zosidobola bo. Chesa. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe mama, we mama, we ma. Awe ma, mutolo ngakhala. Awe ma. Hekulento esiyenzayo. Hekulento esiyenzayo. Hekulento esiyenzayo. Allo. Hekulento esiyenzayo. Hekulento esiyenzayo. Hekulento esiyenzayo. Sithi vuma vuma moya wa. Kethe vuma vuma moya wa. Kawuvume moya wa. Sithi vuma vuma moya wa. Sithi vuma vuma moya wa. Kawuvume moya wa. Sizojika izinto benokhalelane isikhalo sefighter sihoye benokhalelane sithi vuma vuma moya wa. Kethe vuma vuma moya wa. Kawuvume moya wa. Sithi ngene garage utheli petrol kejema. Hebo ngene garage utheli petrol kejema. Hebo sketchema. Sketchema, sketchema. Hebo sketchema. Sketchema, sketchema. Hebo ngene garage utheli petrol sketchema. Hebo ngene garage utheli petrol sketchema. Hebo sketchema. Sketchema, sketchema.
Can we?
Hebo sketchema. Sketchema, sketchema. De las bonas sinche hangale. Las bonas sinche hangale. Las bonas sinche hangale. Tete wene mandela las bonas sinche hangale. 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 Are how many days away? Days away. Days away. Are how many days away? Days away. Days away. Are how many days away? Days away. Days away. Are how many days away? Days away. Days away. Are when I die, don't throw me away. Take my body home. How to my people come on down. Aye, 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 aye. Are when I die, don't throw me away. Take my body home. How to my people come on down. Aye, 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 I walk. Arengalagata bo, avume galagata, galagata bo, avume galagata, vume galagata, galagata boma, vume. Arengalagata bo, avume galagata, galagata bo, avume galagata,
Avume galagata. Bari Winnie Mandela, Mama wa mafighter. Bari Winnie Mandela, I'm a mama wa EFF. Sinete makumahama, sinete makumama wetu. Sinete makumahama, sinete makumama wetu. When I was she and no truth. 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 Hati pega beses na le latin. Hati pega beses na le moye.
Amanda, viva Beyonce, viva. Sorry Beyonce, ngiyakubona we are in a high spirit, but unfortunately we have to start our program. Amanda, viva Pujanala, viva. Hey, Tanga Kayeta, viva Dr. KK, viva. Hey, ta Dr. Ruth, ta. Amanda, 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 Amanda. Long live CIC, long live. Long live Deputy President, long live. Long live SG, long live. Long live DSG, long live. Long live National Chair, long live. Long live Treasurer General, long live. Long live EFF, long live. Pansine ANC, Panse. Pansine corruption ANC, Panse. Long live the undying spirit of Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, long live. Long live Imbokote, long live. Long live EFF Student Command, long live. Pansi Namasela Panse. Pansi Namasela Panse. Forward with EFF, forward. Forward with 2024, forward. Puma ANC, Puma. Puma ANC, Puma. Kena EFF, Kena. Kena EFF, Kena. Thank you very much, Chairperson of the province, Deputy Chair of the province, PS Provincial Secretary of the province, and the Deputy Secretary of the province, and all PCT members. Let me take this opportunity to welcome all delegates who are here from branches. Viva branch delegates, viva! Viva, viva branch delegates, viva! Viva! I welcome on the RCTs at present, and we are starting our program. So we all have agenda. All of us, we have an agenda. It says programs, rules, and procedures of the assembly on this booklet. So we are on page 2 because this one must be page 1. So let me take you through the agenda of the day. Yesterday it was registration. It is done. So today is opening. And then number 3 will be opening remarks by the program director, which is Komisam Kalipi. This is Komisam Kalipi, who is going to be your program director. And then after the opening remarks by the program director, there will be introduction of guests by the PC chairperson, Sheikh Botswe. And then after that, there will be credentials that will be presented by the Deputy Secretary of the province. And after that, there will be discussions and adoption of credentials by the plenary. Plenary is you, beautiful delegates of the province of Northwest. And after that, on the program, what is missing is the message of support from the EFF Student Command. After that, there will be a keynote address by the official that is deployed here in our beautiful province, which will be also be, I'm going to introduce her correctly and revolutionary song. And after that, we are going to read again the rules and procedures of the Provincial People's Assembly in order for every delegate must know how we must, all of us, behave during this assembly. And after that, we are going to have 2022 Provincial People's Assembly guidelines. And after that, we are going to receive a political report from the chairperson of the province. After that, we are going to receive an organizational report from the secretary of the province. And number 12, we don't have a financial report because we don't have a treasurer, but we are going to be clarified on the organizational report on that item. And after that, we are going to discuss politically and organizational reports. All of us who are going to engage robustly and come with suggestions after we have received both the reports. Then we'll break for lunch. Going to have nice lunch, enjoy our lunch when we come back, and then we are going to nominate top 5. But I know all of us, we are not here just for that item. We are here to take the province forward. But as part of the agenda anyway, the nomination. And then after the nomination, the voting for top 5 is going to take place today. And then after that, while we are voting, there will be commissions that where all of us are going to engage on commissions. And then the next item will be announcement of the result of the top 5 elections. And then there will be nomination of additional members, and there will be voting for additional members. Then on Sunday, which is tomorrow, there will be commission's report and discussion. And then announcement of result of additional members and declaration of the Provincial People's Assembly by the newly elected PC secretary. And then there will be a closing address by the newly elected PCT chairperson. But before that, our commander-in-chief is coming tomorrow to close for us. So on my opening remarks, I just want to welcome you all delegates from different regions. We have delegates, I think the biggest region is Pujanala, where I'm deployed. Viva Pujanala, viva! Viva! Followed by Ngaka. Where is Ngaka? Sitting here. Is my also area of deployment. Viva Ngaka, viva! Viva! And we are also followed by Dr. KK. Where is Dr. KK? Oh, yeah, within. And then Dr. Ruth, right there at the back. Viva, Dr. Ruth, viva! So I'm not going to say much. It's just that I want to welcome all of you. And in welcoming all of you fighters, ground forces, I want to say that this is a very, very important program of the province. We must use this opportunity to ensure that whatever resolutions is taken here, it must be implemented. Remember, you are the branch delegates. If you are a branch delegate, it means that you are leading a branch right there. So whatever resolutions that is going to take place here in this conference, in this people's PPA, must be implemented at the branch level. Because if you are not going to go and strengthen our branches, it means that you are not responsive to the issues of the people on the ground. It becomes a very problematic because people on the ground are also entrusting you as EFF to liberate them. The state of the province is dysfunctional. We don't have municipalities here in the province. So you must take those opportunities to go and revive our communities through the program of EFF. So it means that you must be disciplined from now until Sunday. You must adhere to the rules and procedures, guidelines of EFF, which we are still going to read it to you. I know all of you, because you are disciplined cadres of EFF, you do have those guidelines and procedures. But now we have to take you through as well in order to guide you. Siyazwana, comrades? Because discipline is sacrosanct. The discipline of any organization, especially the organization called EFF, who is government in waiting, it must be very important. So each one of you here, I want to say, as we are starting this program and going forward, we must focus on what we are here for, as I was reading the program to you. And you do have a program. So I welcome you as a CCT deployee, and I want to say to you, let us protect this organization, because no one will protect this organization. And one thing is that the ANC wish to see you fighting, wish to see you dying. So you must ensure that you are government in waiting, and you must disappoint the ANC. So now I would like to invite Fighter Paratang to come and open by Nkosi Sikelela Africa. So those men who have head, they must take down their heads, and we must start our People's Assembly. Fighter Paratang.
Nkosi sikeleli Afrika, maluphakanyisu phondo lwayo, yizwa imithandazo yethu. Nkosi sikelela athina lusapho lwayo. Nkosi sikeleli Afrika, maluphakanyisu phondo lwayo, yizwa imithandazo yethu. Nkosi sikelela athina lusapho lwahoza moya. Hoza moya, hoza moya, oh ingwele. Nkosi sikelela athina lusapho lwayo. Murena bulu
Morena buluka sicha sa Yesu. Ufedise din. Usibuluke. Usibuluke morena. Sichabasa Yesu sichabasa Afri usibuluke usibuluke morena Sichabasa Yesu Sichabasa Makube Makube Akude kube kuna pakate kude kube kuna pa makube makube akude kube kuna pakate kude kube kuna pakate amandla.
Thank you very much, Fighter Baratang. The next item on the agenda is the chairperson of the province who must introduce the leadership and the guest. But I don't think that we have any guest here. We have only leadership. Chairperson.
Amandla. Amandla. Awethu. Aykhule EFF aykhule. Aykhule EFF aykhule. Thank you very much. Yaka task ke nyane fela is to ensure gore ke tlo go introduce our guest. Re na le media mona le rona. Re na le student command ba eleng gore ba lidiwa ke Koketso Mphe as the chairperson of the student command in the Northwest Province, Senzo Hlazo as the secretary. Renali Munwabisi Mpichani as the DPS of the student command in the Northwest Province. Renali NS Mudisako as the provincial treasurer of the student command. Renali Dr. Matsitela on my far left hand side. Renali Komisa Chigo Mkonasi. Renali, our national spokesperson, Komisa Sinautambo. Renali Komisa Lien Mateis, spokesperson also. Renali Komisa Thengiwe Mkhalipi, convener of the deployee in the Northwest Province. Renali, our national chairperson, Komisa Veronica Mente Mpuna. Thank you very much. Kitlafa, our convener of deployee, Komisa Thengiwe Mkhalipi, Amandla.
I don't know why the chairperson is not also introducing the PCT. We have PCT of the province here. Just wave. So in the PCT, the chairperson is Botwe. Can I introduce him? Botwe, can you just wave to fighters? because we did introduce. There's a deputy chairperson of the province, Motweti Mutsusi. There is a secretary of the province, Papiki Babuile. There is a deputy secretary, Kelly Kili. I always say to these comrades, fighters, I must get a second home here with parents, not husband, because I'm married, in order for me to master the language. So they are defying me, this leadership, because I must have a home in Puchanala where I'm deployed, or I must have a home here in Gaka where I'm deployed. No one is offering me. Maybe I must go to Dr. KK and Dr. Ruth. It's high time. Thank you very much, Chair, for the introduction. So now we are coming to credentials. So the Deputy Secretary of the province is going to table the credentials. Thank you very much. Deputy Secretary.
Thank you, Program Director. The credentials for the Economic Freedom Fighters Northwest Provincial People Assembly is as follows. Provincial Command Team. Out of 20 PCT delegates expected, all are in attendance. Regional Command Teams. Out of 83 RCT delegates expected, 70 are in attendance and 5 are not in attendance. Breakdown is as follows. Bojanala region. Expected delegate from RCT of Bojanala is 20. RCT delegate in attendance is 19. RCT delegate not in attendance is 1. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda region. RCT delegate expected is 19. RCT delegate in attendance is 18. RCT delegate not in attendance is 1. Dr. Ruth Mumpati region. RCT delegate expected is 23. RCT delegate in attendance is 23. RCT delegate not in attendance 0. Ngaka Modiri Mulema region. RCT delegate expected is 21. RCT delegate in attendance is 18. RCT delegate not in attendance is 3. Total breakdown, all region RCT delegate expected is 83. RCT delegate attendance is 78. RCT delegate not in attendance is 5. Branch delegate. Out of 750 branch delegate expected is 638. 638 are in attendance and 112 are not in attendance. Breakdown is as follows. Bojanala region, branch delegate expected is 278. Branch delegate in attendance is 238. Branch delegate not in attendance is 40. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda region, branch delegate expected is 100. Branch delegate in attendance is 122. Branch delegate not in attendance is 28. Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, branch delegate expected is 150. Sorry. Branch delegate in attendance is 122. Branch delegate not in attendance is 28. Dr. Ruth Mumpati region, branch delegate expected is 124. Branch delegate in attendance is 118. Branch delegate not in attendance is 6. Ngaka Modiri Mulema region, branch delegate expected is 198. Branch delegate in attendance is 160. Branch delegate not in attendance is 38. Total branch delegate expected is 750. Branch delegate in attendance is 638. And branch delegate not in attendance is 112. Credential for all voting delegates. The threshold for quorum D is 400. Okay. Credentials, provincial command team, delegate expected is 20. Delegate in attendance is 20. Delegate not in attendance is 0. Regional command team, delegate expected is 83. Delegate in attendance is 78. Delegate not in attendance is 5. Branch delegates. Delegate expected is 750. Delegate in attendance is 638. Delegate not in attendance is 112. Total delegate expected is 853. Delegate in attendance is 736. Delegate not in attendance is 170. 117. 117 delegates not in attendance. Thank you.
Now we are entering a stage of a closed session. I'll wait. Closed session, it means that we must release the media. Put your hand. And then we are going to close the doors. No one must enter. Thank you, beautiful media. So I just want to say while the media is going out, thank you. The expected delegates, as the Deputy Secretary was saying, was 853, and present, the delegates is 736, 7.
shiwelele shiwelewelele oh ah mafaita hlanganani hashiwelele shiwelewelele oh ah isasa lomntomnyama hashiwelele shiwelewelele oh ah thina sifuna ukufunda hashiwelele shiwelewelele oh ah sizofuna mala hashiwelele shiwelewelele oh ah bafaita hlanganani hashiwelele shiwelewelele oh ah bafaita hlanganani hashiwelele shiwelewelele oh ah oh hashiwelele
Amanda.
shiwele-
Away, two. Long live EFF, long live. Hala, hala, Dr. KK, hala, hala. Pambili, Bujana, hala, Pambili. Hola, Dr. Ruf, hola. Hola, Ngaka, hola. Thank you very much, Petas. Let me notice the leadership of CCT, the RCT, the PCT, the public reps of the organization, the leadership of DOR, fighters, grand forces, members of EFF Student Command, and those who believe in EFF Student Command. Ours is very much a simple fighters. By the way, I'm the chairperson of EFF Student Command, Fighter Goge Tumchi, the first chairperson of EFF Student Command in the Northwest. As the EFF Student Command Northwest, we stand on behalf of all 15 institutions of higher learning, the landless and the generation that makes education fashionable. Ours is very much simple by giving words of support and revolutionary thanks to the second PCT of Northwest under the leadership of Provincial Chair Commissar Shakespeare, Provincial Secretary Commissar Papiki Wawile, the officials of PCT, the entire PCT of the Northwest. We commend the PCT forces for their tireless efforts, sacrifice, and their contribution to the mighty EFF and strengthening the organization in the Platinum Province. The PCT made sure that the EFF Student Command launched its Fed structure in the province, which is a great achievement for the province because we had our very own first PSA this year, launching the structure of EFF Student Command. So Northwest, it's first time we're having the structure of EFF Student Command. So it's a great achievement by the leadership led by Commissar Chicks and Commissar Papik and their collective, those who are sitting in the PCT, including the RCT members. The PCT and RCT made sure that there is a good working relationship between the student command and all structures of mother body within the province. During 2021 local government election, the student command and the mother body have managed to mobilize students and young people to rally behind the banner of EFF. As much the EFF is on 1 million membership campaign, reaching the campaign before the end of December. Also from the student command, we have launched the campaign of Vota Mutomumcha, whereby we'll mobilize all students within the higher institution, the students from in fact, the learners from secondary and high schools, assisting them with a IEC registration and giving them why there is a student command
at institution of higher learning so that we can conscientize them at early stages. Cheers. We have seen the Provincial Student Command Team being invited in all programs of Marabori, which gives a clear capacity to build dynamic relationship between the students and community struggles and programs, because student wars are community wars. Towards 2024 national elections, all students in the province of Platinum, the Northwest Platinum province, must join forces with all structures of Marabori, working hands in hands, winning confidence of voters and restoring the dignity of Black Africans. We must pay attention on every detail on reflection of environment, reference identifying issues affecting our people, region by region, sub-region by sub-region, ward by ward, so that we can gain more confidence and support from our people towards the 2024 national election. Because the EFF is only last hope for our people, Black masses, Africans. The student command, we are very much command ready to work in incoming PCT, including RCT, from all regions, grand forces, as PPA engages and resolve the type and character of leadership needed to grow and develop the EFF in Northwest. Fighters must remain organizational and disciplined. Personal ambitions and bad attitude must be kept aside. The PPA, let it be festival of ideas and the leadership quotient. Furthermore, let's unite and grow, popularize and strengthen the mighty EFF in our province. As I conclude, fighters must know that the revolution is paying, and in pursuing it, one requires patience, love for the organization. We would have done a huge mistake if we were closing without thanking the CC deployees, PCT, RCT, PSCT, delegates, grand forces, and all those who believe in applying the theoretical line of organization, being Marxist, Leninist, and Fanonian, and uniting the continent of Africa. Amanda! Long live EFF in Northwest, 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 long live! Amanda! Fotek, ANC, Fotek! Amanda! Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mtomusha. I think the clear message from the EFF Student Command is to say that you can't be a member of EFF Student Command if you are not a member of EFF. So we must ensure at our branch level as well that those student command, they need our guidance. The first guide is that they must join EFF. They taken that resolution, which is very progressive. Thank you very much, Chair. Let us continue with our agenda, fighters. The next item on the agenda is keynote address. Let me just introduce Umama Wetu, National Chairperson, who is one of the powerful women in South Africa. Sesimbone lapha eParliament elwela omama. Sesithi ke thina mabeselwa sithi uMadikizela Mandela uWinnie didn't die but multiplied. So she is a mother of ground forces. Nathi mangabe sinezingxaki emakhaya, we will just go to her and say, please mama, can you just give me a guidance? She is from a place of birth. She's from Eastern Cape, but now is no longer in the Eastern Cape. Her membership is in the Western Cape. So Mama, she's a member of the parliament. She's a whip in parliament. So after all, she is our mother. So Mama, come and talk to us. Children of yours, they want to hear the message because we are the hope. We are carrying the aspiration of all other women who partake on the struggle who fought for this country, but the ANC is making sure that Tina Ezo Mama, we are suffering even after 28 of democracy. Commissar, Chairperson, National Chairperson, please come and address us.
Oh, ay, 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 yo, ay, so, ay, 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 yo, yo, ay, 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 yo, ay, awo, ay, 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 yo, yo, ay, 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 yo, ay, eso, chomtonga lale, ay, iso, chomtonga lale, ay, eso, chomtonga lale, isoja omntonga laleha awo ay 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 yo yo ay 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 yo awo ay 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 yo yo ay 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 yo awe soja omntonga laleha omntonga laleha eso omntonga laleha omntonga laleha awo hey 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 yo hey yo hey 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 yo oh eso omntonga laleha
Amandla. 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 Viva EFF, viva. Viva EFF, viva. Viva EFF, viva. Viva EFF, viva. Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to thank the program director, Commissar, former DSG. So organizationally, you remain DSG. Let me thank Commissar Chico, the deployee of Northwest, Commissar Dr. Matsitela, the deployee of Gauteng, who has graced this beautiful moment. And we thank you for availing yourself to come and be with the ground forces of the Northwest. Chairperson of the province, Commissar Shakes Budzwe, the Provincial Secretary, Commissar Papiki Babuile, the Deputy Chair, Faita Mudwedi, the Deputy Secretary of the province, Imbogodo, and the entire PCT. When I say PCT, I also mean the ex-officials. I saw the chair of Dr. Ruth, our former mayor. I also saw the other chairpersons of the other regions. The entire RCT complement of Northwest. But this morning, let me take this opportunity to greet the actual people who mean anything today, who are here to renew the mandate. The ground forces of Northwest Molweni. Siyanibona media, siyanibona bantu abasha, student command. Today is a very beautiful moment. And it's a moment where the Northwest as a province of the EFF is here to take stock. I think DSG, we need to first start at the organizational level and discipline of the organization. The people's assembles from branch level. It's an occasion that gathers all the activists and ground forces who are the members of the organization to come and take stock of progress, take decisions going forward as to, are we moving forward? Are we stagnant, or are we taking 10 steps back? That is why we're here today. We're here today to renew the mandate we gave the PCT 4 years ago. We are here today to be truthful, committed, and loyal to the mission of the EFF, that economic freedom in our lifetime. And the question all delegates should have is, within this economic freedom in our lifetime, and in order for us to achieve it, what are the tools that we require in order for us to get there? As the province of Northwest, we went to different regions and regional people's assemblies. You renewed the mandate there. Today is the day where the entire province put their heads together to say, in Dr. Ruth, we renewed the mandate and we took resolutions. How far are we with those resolutions? Are our resolutions at Dr. Ruth similar to the resolutions of Dr. KK? Are we talking to the organization that is growing? Are we having branches that are alive and understanding their mandate as branches of the EFF? Today is that time where you do the comparison and similarities of your mandates and take from Dr. KK, from Bujanala to Dr. Ruth to Ngakamudir. We're not here for anything else, but we're here to grow the organization. But in order to grow that organization, what tools in this toolbox do we need? In that toolbox, you've already elected your regional command teams. You now need the tools to take those resolutions forward. And in that toolbox, just like we did in the branch assemblies, we must explain what does it mean in this organization of the EFF to be a PCT member. Are you available because you think you are fit and proper? Are we as delegates seeing you as fit and proper to fit the mandate that we have taken in our regional conferences, which today we are going to take the same resolutions and go and discuss them in commissions? And those resolutions were coming to go out. We are going to go out of commissions. Is this toolbox fit and proper to advance the economic freedom in our lifetime? You can't be the chair of a branch if the terrain you are working on, you don't understand it. If you don't know how many VDs are in your branch, you can't chair that branch. Because tomorrow, you will think that the existence of the EFF is within your VD. And when we say we need VD ETF, you get shocked. When you say your branch has got 8 VDs, and you start saying, I didn't think that I have to travel that far. It's the same thing that comes to this platform. To grow this organization, we need soldiers. We need discipline. We need commitment. We don't need a situation where people are going to come and say, I wasn't aware that I have to do this. But equally, We don't need a situation where there's few people who are pulling and the rest are just earning and reaping the rewards because of other people's tears and sweat. So as delegates today to grow this organization, you are here to do that assessment. And you are here to do that assessment without fear or favor. Because whatever it is that other people say about the EFF remains the only organization and hope of our people. We remain the only hope for this country. We remain the only hope for this continent. So in order for us, here we are bordering many countries. Zimbabwe is closer to us. Mozambique is closer to us. Lesotho is here in our province. Botswana is here in our province. Can the Northwest account on what does the EFF Botswana do? Do we even have EFF in Botswana? What are we doing in order to advance the Pan-Africanism of this continent? We need such leaders. We need leaders that are not lazy. Laziness is not part of our agenda. Sleeping is not part of our agenda. So today is your day, delegates, to take stock of the past 4 years, critique the past 4 years, but equally, you must bring solutions to the way forward. We are not here to insult each other. We are here to build each other. We are here to build and make sure that the EFF is growing. So the performance of the regions of the Northwest in terms of the 1 million membership should equally be assessed thoroughly by delegates. You should not be comfortable when in your sub-region of 10 wards, only 5 wards are contributing to the 1 million membership, and there is 5 wards that are doing absolutely nothing. And those 5 wards have been recorded during the RPAs as the wards that have been launched, and they are branches of the organization. So as branches in a sub-region, you should have a relationship with other branches because you are a unit. You should seek to understand why are we not seeing a Red Friday in Ward 1 of our own sub-region. And when there's that Red Friday, you must go and support them, because to build this organization way back from 2013, we didn't get here by insulting each other. We got here by building each other, by supporting each other. All these provinces, at some point, we would call all public representatives. We didn't even have councillors at the time, to come and build each province so that the unit grows as one. We can't have a situation when we say it's war and we are calling and Ditsobota, only 2 branches are available, and we can say we send a bus. Fighters, what we are doing now of growing the organization and the 1 million membership means that when we say Northwest, can you host an anniversary? We should not be worried about the presence of ground forces and fighters who are going to attend. It should be easy to say, in my branch, you can send a bus, I'll give you pickup points. Because that's the unit which is working. So a branch that is not a unit and it's not working is a branch that is taking the progress of other branches backwards. But for that branch to move forward, all of us, we need to sit down as a sub-region and always take an account of where is Ward 1, where is Ward 2, where is Ward 3, and what are you doing at Ward 3? The constitution is clear that what is it that you must do as a branch on a daily basis? The unit, which is called a branch in the EFF, is that unit which has doctors of society. You are social workers of society. You are nurses. You are teachers. You are firefighters. You are police. If you are a chair or you are a BCT of a branch and you have never been receiving calls that there is a certain house burning and we need the EFF to assist us, it means the people don't know you. So we need a province that is going to make sure that the revival of such branches is taking place. It's a revival of making sure that this unit, even beyond us reaching the 1 million, we become a strong force. And a force which is well coordinated, that we do not need to be screaming at anyone. If we call a branch chair and say we need 20 ground forces, it shouldn't take a branch chairperson more than 20 minutes to say, this is the number of people that I'm giving you. That's what it takes to build an organization. It's an organization of people who know each other. If you are branches that don't know each other, from today, you must make sure that when you go back home, you ask your RCT, can you deploy someone to our sub-region? We need a meeting of all branches and just take account of what's happening in our place. Because when you need to pull a march for not having water, you can't be looking all over the place. When you don't have water and you have to march to the municipality, as a unit, you must be able to pull that without having people coming from everywhere else. And that is why during elections, it's going to be very easy for branches to produce VDETFs. You produce VDETFs simply because you have a human resource and you have ground forces that are committed to the cause, that on a daily basis, when you say Red Friday, you don't have to call people every day. When on the WhatsApp group, you put a calendar of a branch to say, from this day, this is what we are doing. We are visiting a clinic that didn't give people medicines. Tomorrow, we're going to a school principal who has complained that the toilets are not working, to have a meeting with that principal in order to find a way forward. That's what we do as this organization. We don't get here to look at each other. We are here for the people. But for the organization to reach that 1 million membership is when the visibility and the commitment to the community you are in is working. You are not going to recruit anyone if you are not committed. If they don't see you, why should they join? They can't join if they cannot see you, fighters. Equally, fighters, we don't pay membership for anyone. People join willingly because they want to be members of the organization. They have taken a decision that I'm leaving everything else behind and I'm putting a stamp and my signature on this form and commit and declare that I am a member of this organization and I shall work for my people. And that's what it means to grow an organization. Now, fighters, this province is an official opposition in government. Are we willing to lose that? Do you as delegates want to lose that position? It means that in 2024, we want to be government. For 2 terms, we've been official opposition. So this congregation here must take a solid resolution on how do we get to 2024 and be government. You've been an official opposition for 2 terms. I'm sure there's many lessons you've learned. And this congregation today must bring us a solution from yourselves. How do we get to 2024 successfully? And I want to advise you. Where is Mahikeng Ward 5? Where are the delegates of Mahikeng Ward 5? You must ask the Ngagamudiri Mulema leadership. How do you work the ground? Yes. How, ask those comrades, how do you work the ground and successfully, with a huge margin, win a ward? Because it starts by winning a ward to win a province. You can't win a province if you can't win a ward. So winning a ward means, as from today, most of you as delegates here, you are chairpersons and secretaries of branches. When you go back home, you call your BCT meeting and ask yourself, are we contributing towards the 1 million membership? And we doing that successfully? If so, how many members of this community are registered by us as the BCT? Because you can't expect people to vote when you did not register them. So for us to get out of the position of being an official opposition and be government, let's go and register our people. Let's go and register our young people. Let's take the student command along. If you have a campus in your sub-region, go and assist the student command. Get the young people registered, because that's where the EFF votes are. You are not going to win a province if you are not intent with your ward. Your ward must be intact, and you should be comfortable and be a person who can speak without fear or favor that you can bring by-elections at any day. Here I have ground forces. Here we have voters. Here we service our people. Because after they have joined, they need service. Fighters were not going to service people because we're in government. We service our people now. You don't call yourself a government in waiting and think that you are going to practice when you are in government. That is why we are in this mess we are in today. Because the people that were getting themselves ready to govern, they did not practice to govern. They just went in deep pool, heads in, like Malume who went into the swimming pool. And when they got in, they realized, we need some reinforcement. Practice today. You can't have a ward that is full of filth and people are dumping everywhere. There is an EFF ward. An EFF ward can't have a dumping zone with papers flying everywhere. An EFF ward finds a way to go to the municipality and demand that we need the recycling bin to be placed there so that our people can place in a dumping bin, a trash bin. We can't be dumping in an open field because that's harm to our children, to our health, and especially to our old people. That is why they call you an advanced detachment of the people. When you call yourself a vanguard of the people, what do you do for the people in order for them to recognize you, to recognize your presence, and know that you are there? So coming out of here, your resolutions should be clear in terms of governance. What are we doing in governance to make sure that our people are serviced? We have public representatives. They must be able to know the systems of municipalities. How do you get a recycling bin to be in each and every community? Not a ward, because a ward is very big. We should go and demand that. We have overflowing drainages everywhere. Municipalities is not taken to task. We must go and take municipality to task. They are paid for that. They receive budget for that. But you can't be a branch of an EFF that the last day you met was that day you went to the BPA and you were elected. And you can't be a delegate here that the last day you saw other people of your branches, that day you were nominated as a delegate. And then you come and say, we are taking over 2024. Every 2 weeks, you should be able to see each other face to face. But the BCT on a weekly basis should be taking stock of what have we done for our people this week. If we can't do that, we can't be government. Because this government is going to have ministers from yourselves. In the EFF, we don't have cadre deployment. We're going to have MMs from yourselves. What kind of an MM are you going to be when you have never, for a single day, went to clean a park for the children to play? How are you going to be a public representative when you have never called for the children to come and play in the area and the park created by the EFF branch? If we fail to service our people are not going to be anything to us. They are not going to contribute. We are now looking for 1 million membership. The following year, we're looking into giving our members political education. But the branch itself should know by now, what is it that we need? And that will inform you of a kind of a leadership you are looking for today. The reason why you are going to wait for the person seated next to you to tell you who can be a leader is because you as a branch have never interacted with leadership. As a unit of a branch at the ground level, you must be able to call your leaders on a daily basis. That leaders, I'm in this clinic, and the sister in charge is telling me they have never received medicine for 2 weeks now. You are not there to fight with the sister in charge, but the sister in charge is giving you grievances. And when you have never interacted with the leaders you want to bring here, what is it that they have done for you? Have you ever called for them? Have you ever gone to SASA with a list of people who have nothing, that go to bed without food, children who go to school without proper uniform? Have you ever gone to SASA yourself to say, I'm here to ask for food parcels to be provided to that particular household? Because in our branch, we know the children who go to school barefoot. In our branch, we know the households who go to bed hungry. In our branch, we know of a girl child who goes to school without a sanitary towel and has to come back because there's no solution. That's governance. That's the service our people are looking for. Our people are not looking for terms of Marxism. Those are our tools when we sit together and interchange ideas. When we exchange ideas and we use that to go and fight on the ground. But you can't go to our people and give them big English. Our people are looking for solutions. Are you part of a solution in your community? Are the leaders that are here part of the solutions in our communities? We're going to go to an organizational report. And an organizational report is going to tell you of each and every individual in the PCT of What is it that they've done for us? All of us as delegates here, they led us for the past 4 years, and today we want accountability. Are we helping our people or are we helping ourselves? Fighters in governance, DSG, I would be failing if I don't mention this. Public representatives, just like what I've seen earlier on happening here, a fighter trying to speak on behalf of another branch. We don't have such a culture in the EFF. Because you as a branch, you have your own brain. You know what you are doing. Why would another person undermine you and speak on your behalf? Why would another person raise your concerns? It means there is no branch there. Then we must dissolve it and have a branch. Fighters, let's not adopt cultures that don't belong to this organization. We don't have a culture of influencing other people to do wrong things. We have a culture of helping each other to grow the organization and help our people. Our public representatives are slacking to a point where they even undermine leadership. Commissar Shakes is the head of government in the province. And every time he can sit in any meeting, any caucus, he doesn't need to be invited. He invites himself. As a provincial head and the party leader of this province, he invites himself to any caucus. And no one is going to say, we don't need you. Who's leading you? And when a line of march is provided for caucuses, we are not expecting anyone to go against that line of march. This is an organization. We are here under democratic centralism. We are not going to be hearing people who say, I am going to go there and vote with my heart. Why are we putting our heads together and find a way forward, Gandhi, when you are going to go and do your own thing? Do you belong to us? You don't. You can't be a public representative of the EFF when the caucus have sat, deliberated on the agenda, and found a way forward and gave a line of march to each and every one. And then we find a councillor in JP Max who's voting against the caucus resolution. And then we can sit here and say that person is with us. You can't be a leader when a branch sits and elect candidates when now you go to office and change them. You are not part of us. You are destroying us. Because the revolt we are going to face in the community for you changing their own delegate means that the organization is not going to be voted for. Why are we doing these things? I will take an excuse from a member of the branch of not knowing, but I cannot take that excuse from a leader. You can't be a leader and think that you are going to go there and do everything against the organization you lead on its behalf. Fighters, we lost 4 branches in Rustenburg. Not because the ground forces of Rustenburg were not working, but the leadership was working against the ground forces of Rustenburg. Now, those things must not happen anymore. Today, we find people who can come here and try to support others who are suspended, expelled, or disciplined by the organization. Fighters, let me warn you. This organization is bigger than all of us. It's very big. I can throw tantrums tomorrow and say I'm resigning. It's going to exist. Because this organization is a unit. You are not here because you are pushed. You are here because it's here in your hearts. Do not undermine that thing, that voice that comes from inside. Or should I wake up to go to that conference, or it's just a waste of time? But there is that voice that tells you there is something different, although you contributed to that conference. So go. Don't undermine that voice that woke you up and said, go to that BGA and the BPA of that day. And when they nominate you, you should say you are available. You are not available for yourself, but something is pushing you. Something within you says, if I can make this little contribution and add my voice, something is going to change. So don't undermine yourselves and get other people feeding you wrong things. Call leadership when it's out of order, but don't call it ngendlela engekho disciplined. You are leaders. We have processes. The constitution is clear. Our disciplinary code is clear. Our public representative disciplinary code is clear. We don't just wake up and protest and no leader must come here. No. We allow our leaders and we close the doors and say, hey, it's us alone now. Can you tell us what is these things you're doing? Because that's how we build each other. So fighters in government, respect your party leaders. Do not call for the fall of mayors without party leaders knowing. Because when the mayors are retaliating, we're not going to be part of that when the party leader says, I don't know. Never take a drastic measure without consultation. It's not that the leadership is going to say no. We take a mandate from you in government. We have never said no. When we say no, we guide you on how to do it. We always listen to the ground forces that the reason why we think there should be a motion of no confidence against this mayor, these are the following reasons. And all of us satisfy each other on how legitimate those reasons are. And we take a buy-in and say, go and vote against the mayor. Go take that mayor down because they are no longer servicing our people. But you can't go as a caucus, wake up one day and write a letter, when I'm mayor, you are going. We are an organization. We only have one chief whip. All other whips, they consult their party leaders. We can't have an organization that in ANC, when the Northwest is speaking there, the two people, they're saying in the same conference, there's a media briefing of other people here. There's another media briefing of other people here, just like COPE. The organizations, they go to disarray when they do those things. Of briefing here, the briefing there, and then there's a briefing there. There's always one line of march, which is canvassed amongst ourselves. And then we find a solution and we rally behind that solution. All of us. So, fighters, I think you've heard of the suspension of the 3 fighters in the province. 1 in KK, 2 in Bujanala. And in Bujanala, it includes the secretary of the region. That should not deter any of us. It's a lesson we must all learn from. It's a lesson that if you don't know what you are doing, ask. Because other actions have detrimental effect on the organization. You can't signature campaign when we say launch branches. And when I went to door and ask people to sign. And think that we're going to buy that. We are building an organization. Let's have an appreciation of having people to gather together. They appreciate knowing that I am not a fighter alone. Remember, people are still scared to join because the ANC is threatening them. But they appreciate it when they see more other people they know. I'm not the only one who must wear this red t-shirt. We are many, and we are fighting against the status quo, and therefore they also gain confidence in fighting. But you can't then come and say, you have gathered a community, and you didn't gather any community when you did door-to-door and ask people to sign. Gathering a community has its own significance in the motivation of what we are doing. We are motivating more people to join because as you gather, you get to be seen by communities, you get to be seen by other people, and they come to ask, what's happening here? I've been looking for EFF as well. But when you are not going to gather and we get told, no, you have gathered, it's wrong. We are not building, we're destroying. Let that be the last person who have done that. Let that be the very, very last person, and no one else should commit such a horrendous transgression. Fighters, the province is having by-elections on a daily basis. Let's participate in our by-elections. By-elections are very easy to win, but it takes the commitment and the loyalty of the fighters of the branch. Visitors must just come later, but the branch itself must rise up to the occasion. The visitors who are coming to help you, when they come there, they must even feel like, we are not needed here, these people are moving. And the visitors will not win you a word because they are not known. You are the ones who are born in that area. You are the ones who can speak to your people. When they see your face, they start understanding, okay, so that child is also EFF. I'm joining and I'm voting EFF. But when they see me, national chair, we have never seen an EFF here. What do I say? Visitors should be just a supporting mechanism to you. So in our by-elections, let's all be vigilant. We can see the signs when there's gonna be by-elections. The signs are showing. And let's start working the ground because we need to save our people from this ANC of Northwest, which is doing absolutely nothing for them. The unemployment of Northwest fighters is very high. It's scary. Young people are not employed. Student Command will tell you how many of the children are looking for support through the NSFAS because their parents are not working. And we must take, Chairperson, the MECs to task. There's many things that must be done. There's potholes everywhere in this province. We are not even having the Department of Transport filling potholes and hiring our people. There's filth everywhere. We are not having recycling projects coming up. Nothing is coming out of government. It's high time we change that. Because we need to find a way and solutions to create employment as fighters. Let's go and push the government to create employment. We can't sit and fold our arms and say, no, the ANC is doing absolutely nothing. We have potholes. Let's go and force them to close them. Let's go and force them to clean the filth that is dumped everywhere in our province. Let's go and force them to clean these community halls. If we force them, they will listen. But if we sit back and do absolutely nothing, our people are going to suffer. And when they suffer, they won't trust you because they have never seen any action out of you. So let's initiate actions in order for our people to be saved. The creation of employment is no longer in the hands of the ANC. Ramaphosa in the SONA declared that government is not responsible for creating jobs. So let's go and force them to create the jobs because we must show them where the jobs are. This province even returned 17 millions back to treasury in one department. Why? Because they can't use it. They can't think. And there's no force and voice of reason that's coming to say, can you push the money out to our people? And the risk is when you take money back to treasury, it means that treasury is going to reduce your next budget because when you can't use it and going to take it to people who can use it. And it looks like Northwest have no problems whatsoever. So in the space of government, let's not sleep. There are minds everywhere. And I must appreciate Provincial Secretary, the work you and the DSG is putting in Bujanala. Because the marches that are coming out of Bujanala, pushing the status quo, are very beautiful. And they are meaningful. So, Bujanala, you are the biggest region of this country, not just of the province. You are the biggest region of South Africa. If it means we must be the example to push both private sector and government to create jobs for our people, let it be us. Let's be the ones. Let's never give up. We must forever push. We are going to touch nerves, that we know, but it should not deter us. We keep pushing. We are the children of Mama Winnie. She has never given up. Why would we give up on our people? We are not in jail. We are not having anyone who's suffocating us with tear gas every day. Why? What will block us? What will be the stumbling block? Nothing. Let's go and save our people. Bujanala be that region which starts. But equally, Bujanala finish your 1 million membership. There's no reason why you haven't reached your target. There's absolutely no reason why. A Red Friday Fighters means that. Let's go and be visible and talk to our people. Let our people see us. Let our people join. Let our people understand the organization. Fighters, I'm going to appeal to men fighters. Please, be not part and parcel of those fighters who are abusing our women and children. And be the ones that protect our women and children in your communities. This government is not providing any solution to GBV. The police will take forever to come and save a woman who's beaten where now you can hear they are screaming for help, but you say it's none of my business. It's your business. A woman can't die when you are there as a fighter. A child cannot die when you are there as a fighter. Let's be the police, the social workers, the child minders of our own societies. Because our people have hope in only us. We are the only hope that's left for our people. women of the EFF. I'm not going to be the only chairperson who's a woman, me and Komisa Mandisa of Free State. Women of the EFF, you must have confidence in yourself. I interacted with 3 yesterday, women that were chairpersons of branches. And here in the province, we have 1 chairperson of the region, 2. We can't come and renew mandates, but mandates that are led by men only. Yet you are the biggest delegation. You are the biggest delegation as women. Women, have confidence in yourself. You are leaders in your own right. You are leaders. Do not undermine. Do not turn down when you are approached. Can you lead? They're like, You can do it. You can lead. The EFF has resolved the matter of the numbers. How many women should be in a PCT, RCT, and zebra approach to councils? That is men, woman, men, woman, men, woman. But it can't be resolved at this level. You are the ones that must resolve it. You are the ones who must sit when you are talking. You are allowed to talk about who must lead. But at the very same time, ask yourselves, are women finding space and cementing themselves in those spaces? We must be the organization that does not show the very same example which the ANC is showing of 1 women top 5 everywhere. One, treasure, deputy something, treasure, deputy something. It's you. We can't resolve that as an organization. We have resolved everything. This conference will not live with leaders. Out of those 25, 13 must be women. That one, it's non-negotiable. But who must lead? It's in your hands. So please have confidence in yourself. By virtue of you being here, it means that you trust you can lead your own branch. You led your branch to bring its mandate here. You are going to take feedback back there. What makes you think you can't lead the province? What makes you think you can't lead the region? Let's be women that Mama Winnie was. We can't call ourselves children of Mama Winnie and not resemble a single thing that she was. Today we are going to have visitors, fighters. The elections committee is the CCT, and we are going to have Ndade Terry Tselane. Some of you know, those that were in the NPA will know Ndade Terry. Our elections person, he is going to conduct our elections. The same discipline you afford the leadership is the same discipline you are going to afford in Ndade Terry. Because I see you midwembe. We take guidance. So when the time starts, we are not going to be calling upon you to keep quiet. Please be disciplined like you are. And fighters that are admin and the fighters that are assisting the conference, when they are asked to do the work, they must just do the work. And anyone else who is a visitor and a friend of a delegate is not supposed to be here. Here, you have a tag that says voting delegate. You earned it. So you need to give yourself a round of applause for being the first province to go to the PPA. It's not out of magic, fighters. It's out of your own hard work. You must at times acknowledge all the difficulties you go through and you still rise above. Other parties don't get, when the DSG was giving you the quorum and the numbers, it's only 100 plus people who are not here. In other parties, it's very difficult to reach a quorum. People don't come because of differences. But in the EFF, we understand that we solve our differences here. This is our fighting ring. This is where we put our heads together and we solve our differences. We don't sit at home and say, I won't go. But sitting at home will not resolve your matter here. So we come here, we put our heads together, we find a solution, we move forward. Why we do that? It's not about us. It's a bigger picture. It's about the people. The people we serve, they must be very proud of us. They must be very proud of the EFF they have joined. They must be very proud of the EFF that does not only carry themselves and be disciplined in communities, but they are disciplined in their own conferences. They don't fly chairs, they don't fight each other, but they speak with each other and make sure that they understand and find solutions. This is the battle of ideas. It's today. When you go to commissions, it's ideas, Baba. We must bring ideas to the table on how do we grow this organization. It's a giant already. It's no longer a baby. Next year we're 10 years. You can't still be saying you are babies. There is no baby who's 10 years old. A 10-year-old is a human being. There might be still a child, but that's a human being. So regard yourselves as human beings now. The time of saying, I was still new, I was still trying to find, we're no longer finding ourselves, we are within, and we are governing in many areas. So fighters, let's carry ourselves with discipline and the way that is expected of us. And let me congratulate once more the Northwest Province for delivering the Student Command, for delivering its successful Student Command. And say, Student Command, we fought for your VDs. In the first term of DSG and Commissar Gigi in the IEC, we fought for VDs to be in the institutions of higher learning. It's the EFF who fought for those VDs. There were very few. So don't disappoint us. Those VDs must be filled up with voters of the EFF from young people. You are in the organized environment. Organize it, agitate it, make sure that it delivers our people. Thank you very much. Amandla! 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 Sipilele, CIC, Sipilele! Sipilele, CIC, Sipilele! Sipilele, Deputy President, Sipilele! Sipilele, Deputy President, Sipilele! Sipilele, SG, Sipilele! Sipilele, SG, Sipilele! Sipilele, DSG, Sipilele! Sipilele, DSG, Sipilele! Sipilele, TG, Sipilele! Sipilele, TG, Sipilele! Thank you very much.
Au mama we ma. Mama we ma. Ma mutulunga ka. We ma. Au mama we ma. Mama we ma. Ma mutulunga ka. We ma. Tolunga ka. Solenyembezi. Ma yisocialisi. We ma. Au mama we ma. Au mama we ma.
Mabutulungaka. Wema. Oh mama, wema. Oh mama, wema. Na isocialisi. Wema. Tolungaka. Sulinyembezi. Na isocialisi. Wema. Amanda.
Amanda, I thought PS was going to sing his famous song. Now he's surprising me, but I understand why he's singing this song because after the powerful message from our mother. Thank you very much, National Chairperson, our official in the province. I hope that branches have get the message. We are clear now from here where to. Without wasting time, fighters, so the next item on our agenda is rules and procedures of the Provincial People's Assembly. So I'm going to read for you. The good thing, Chairperson, National Chair, is that I'm also active on social network. So some of these comrades here are my friends on Facebook. And I saw that they are not even following the rules and procedures themselves. So I'm going to read and then I'm going also to check on Facebook if you have heard what is there on the rules, because these rules are the rules of the conference and they've been adopted by the Central Command team. So all of us here, we have to abide by the rules. So I'm watching you, those who are friends with me on Facebook, when you are putting those things against the rules. So the rules is on page 5 on this book that you have. So let us read together and maybe let us minimize the up and downs. Please, fighters, no one must say that I didn't know that I was doing procedurals and against the rules what I have done, because all of us, we must be attentive. The normal rules of the EFF meeting procedure will apply with the following additions. Number 1, only duly accredited delegates or those recognized by the steering committee will be allowed into a plenary and commission session. All delegates will have the right to speak in plenary, and only duly accredited participants will have the right to speak in commissions. Delegates wishing to speak must indicate their intention by raising their hands. The assembly chairpersons will decide on orders of speakers and shall ensure that there shall be a spread of speakers. A delegate may speak in any official language. Delegates will be allowed to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes in plenary session. The assembly chairpersons shall reduce or extend this period. Delegates will be allowed to speak only once during the plenary session on each topic. Each speaker, after being recognized by the chair of the session, will stand at the microphone provided on the floor and state his or her name and branch before speaking. If the chairperson calls the speaker to order, the delegate will stop speaking until the chairperson authorizes her or him to continue. Delegates wishing to raise a point of order or ask a question will do so by proceeding to the mic and raise their point of order. On a point of order being raised, discussion shall be suspended to allow an intervention of not more than 1 minute. Thereafter, the chairperson will give his or her ruling. All motions must be processed and seconded before they are approved for discussions. An exigency motion must be submitted in writing by the proposer and seconder to the steering committee. No business shall be allowed to be discussed which does not arise out of the reports or motions before the assembly, unless agreed to by the steering committee. No other points of intervention shall be allowed except those provided for in the rules of the assembly. Revolutionary Code of Discipline. In addition to the normal rules of the EFF Constitution and Revolutionary Code of Discipline, failure to comply with the following edition rules will constitute a disciplinary offense. Delegates are expected to attend all sessions and commissions and to be punctual. Delegates must refrain from any behavior which will bring the EFF or the Provincial People's Assembly into disrepute. Documents distributed at the Assembly may be confidential, and delegates are not allowed to distribute such documents to persons who are not entitled to them. Any act of sexual harassment will be punishable. Delegates are expected to respect and obey the chairperson in all sessions and commissions. Delegates who disobey the instruction of the chairperson of the session will be removed from the assembly venue and have their accreditation tag confiscated. Any breach of discipline shall be reported to the steering committee, which shall bring such violations to the attention of the assembly committee. EFF delegates shall not do the following. No one is allowed to bring weapons at the premises of the Provincial People's Assembly. No one is permitted to bring or drink alcohol at the premises of the Provincial People's Assembly. All alcohol will be confiscated and not returned to the owner. No one is permitted to enter assembly premises under the influence of smelling alcohol and or other intoxicating substances. No one has permission to resort to violent acts of any kind in the premises of the assembly. No one shall within the premises of the assembly act in a manner that exposes others to harm or death. No one shall within the premise of the assembly act in a manner that provokes tension. No one shall act in a manner that undermines the procession of the assembly. No one shall within the premises of the assembly take off clothes to demonstrate anger or happiness of any kind whatsoever, or bring banners, posters, or placards in support or against any candidate. No one shall within the premises of the assembly behave in a rowdy and aggressive manner. No one shall within the premise of the assembly be permitted to convene a party to celebrate anything resolved at the assembly. No one within the premises of assembly shall behave in an abusive and disrespectful manner towards other delegates. No cars shall bear or display any posters or material in support or against any fighter. No t-shirts or poster displaying support for or against any fighter will be allowed in the Provincial People's Assembly. No one without assembly accreditation tag will be allowed in the premises of the Provincial People's Assembly. No delegate shall be allowed to speak to the media about any issue in the assembly without the authorization by the assembly committee. No cell phone should be on during the proceedings of the assembly plenary session and commissions. No delegate will be allowed to sleep during the proceedings of the assembly plenary session and commissions. Rules of lobbying. All political and organizational preparations for the EFF PPA are regulated by the Constitution of the EFF, as well as the guidelines adopted by the relevant constitutional structure. The process seeks to ensure that all relevant structures, particularly the branches, are able to engage extensively in shaping the policy discussion and political outcome of any assembly in accordance with the mass and democratic character of our movement. The following should constitute wrong lobbying practices and unacceptable ways of influencing election processes. 1. Singing of songs about preferred candidates is strictly prohibited. Writing boards, t-shirts, and any form of indication with names of candidates is strictly prohibited. Making and waving signs about candidates supported or not supported by delegates is strictly prohibited. Raising and using funds and other resources to campaign for elections is also prohibited. Distributing money to EFF members and structures as part of campaigning for elections. Production of t-shirts, posters, and other paraphernalia to promote a particular list of candidates. promising position or other incentives or threatening to withhold such as means of gaining support, using the media to promote a particular list of candidates and to spread malicious rumors, falsehood, or allegations against those with whom you disagree, leaking confidential information to the media, secret interaction with journalists with the intention to get them to write stories on internal organizational issues or communicating internal decision or processes to the media without due authorization, negative campaigning, which relates to attacks on the integrity of other fighters, both within the structures of the movement and in other forums, suppressing honest and legitimate debate about the caliber of the candidates in informal meetings of the movement, manipulating membership figures or engaging in fraudulent membership recruitment practices, allowing structures or individuals to condone violation of constitutional provisions and or regulations and or failing to report such violations where they occur, using the offices, resources and staff of the EFF or any state institutions or company as mercenary to promote a particular list of candidates, using violence, intimidation, and threats to coerce those who hold a different view, setting a structure outside the organization to promote or lobby for a particular candidate, convening meetings to discuss leadership issues under the false pretext that they are organized constitutional structures, production and distribution of documents and pamphlets not approved by the structure of the organization will not be allowed. In line with these rules, all members, without exception, must abide by the Constitution of the EFF, the rules and regulations and Revolutionary Code of Discipline is adopted or amended from time to time, as well as all policies and all decisions properly adopted or made in terms of the Constitution. Accordingly, all EFF structures and members should ensure that these guidelines, rules, and procedures are adhered to and enforced in the run-up to and at a provincial people's assemblies. In particular, any lobbying that violates the EFF Constitution and bring the good name, image, and integrity of the EFF into disrepute will be subject to a disciplinary inquiry in line with the Constitution and Code of Conduct. Lobbying shall stop once the process of electing the new provincial command team has been concluded at the Provincial People's Assembly. Once the new provincial command team is elected, it becomes the duty of all EFF members to unite and rally behind the newly elected leadership, regardless of the preferences we had before the elections. The elections process. The elections process for the Provincial People's Assembly must be as per 2022 Provincial People's Assembly guidelines. The Provincial People's Assembly shall elect its provincial command team, which shall include the following: chairperson, deputy chair, secretary, deputy secretary, and treasurer. Chair, this falls under the rules election, or is it? I'll repeat. Okay. The Provincial People's Assembly shall elect 20 additional members, and a minimum of 50% of provincial command team shall be females, meaning that 13 females shall constitute the total 25 members of the PCT. In instances where there is contestation, voting shall be by secret ballot in a transparent manner in an open process which should be observed by a minimum of 5 and maximum of 7 delegates to the PPA. The nomination and voting process of the top 5 officials shall happen as follows. The chairperson of the elections committee shall call for the nomination of the top 5 positions in the following sequence: 1 chairperson, 2 deputy chairperson, 3 secretary, 4 deputy secretary, 5 treasurer. After nomination of each position, the chairperson of the elections committee will ask if the nominated members are available. Confirmation of availability can be through the nominated member verbally communicating their availability if they are voting delegates, or through a letter which should be submitted to the Elections Committee. Once nomination has been confirmed, the chairperson of the Elections Committee should ask the Provincial People's Assembly voting delegates to second the nomination by a show of hands, and only names that reach 30% of the voting delegates will be included on the ballot. If a name of a nominated candidate reaches the 30% threshold, it will be included on the ballot paper. If there is only one nomination, such a nomination will be confirmed as elected to the position upon which they were nominated. In instances where there is more than one nomination for each position which has reached the 30% threshold, the election committee shall develop a ballot paper for the delegates. Once the ballot paper is printed, the elections committee shall, with the assistance of the Provincial People's Assembly, appoint observers who will be accepted by the candidates and nominees as observers. Before elections, all the ballot papers shall be stamped or signed at the back with a unique signature or stamp which cannot be copied by anyone. The number of ballot papers shall then be counted in front of the elections committee and observers. The voters' roll for the elections shall be the attendance register to the Provincial People's Assembly. A temporary voting station will be set up allowing each and every voter or delegate to have space to vote secretly. The temporary voting station should necessarily have the following: attendance register, ballot papers, space for delegates to vote secretly, and pens, not pencils, to vote, and empty ballot boxes. Upon entering the temporal voting station, the delegate's name will be checked on the voter's roll, marked, and the delegate issued with one ballot paper to vote secretly. When all delegates have voted, the elections committee will close the temporary voting station and begin counting votes. Counting will happen as follows. Firstly, count the number of votes casted. Secondly, separate the number of votes received by each candidate. Count how many votes each candidate received. Count the number of polled votes. The candidate with the highest number of votes will be the one who is elected for the position. After counting is finished, all delegates will be called to the Provincial People's Assembly for the announcement of the names of those who have been elected. In all instances, in the instance where two candidates receive the same number of votes for one position, the elections committee should reconvene the plenary to explain that there are delegates who receive the same number of votes, and the re-voting will happen on a secret ballot. Please note that results should not be announced before the revoting of a position which had the same number of votes has been finalized. The nomination, only 20 additional members should be voted into Provincial Command's team and added with the top 5 positions elected. The total number will be 25. Of the 25 members of the Provincial Command team, a minimum of 50% of the Provincial Command team shall be females, meaning that 13 females shall constitute the total members of the Provincial Command team. This rule and guidelines is non-negotiable. The nomination of additional members will happen from the floor, and the threshold for this nomination will be 25% of the voting delegates. Voting shall be by a secret ballot, and the top 16 candidates for additional members with the highest votes are elected as members of the Provincial Command team. The elections committee should ensure that a minimum of 13 females are overall nominated and elected to the PPA, meaning that where only males had the highest 16 votes, the females beneath then should be shifted until threshold is reached. The elections committee shall be constituted by the steering committee, prepare the ballot papers as directed by the Constitution, make adequate preparations for voting by secret ballot where applicable, where applicable, including the provision of ballot boxes and the setting up of a machinery for effective provision and counting of votes. Establish further procedures for voting and handling any disputes arising. Announce the results of all ballots. The chairperson of the election committee shall verify that the names of all candidates are currently captured on the ballot paper and sign it off before it can be printed. Conclusion. Adherence to this program and rules of the assembly will ensure that the organization conducts this assembly in a dignified manner, which will lay a solid base as we continue to consolidate the ground towards socialist power. Amandla! Amandla! These are the rules and procedures, comrades. We don't have to adopt them. It was adopted at the city. Now I'm inviting Commissar Matsitela to come and take us through on the Provincial People's Assembly guidelines. Commissar Matsitela.
Manda! Manda! Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I was here in the second PPA. I'm also invited to be on the third one. So it's some background and history there. Thank you very much. My job is very easy. It's just to remind us where we are coming from and where we need to go. So most of you receive these guidelines, all branches receive these guidelines. So it's just to remind you how we got here and what we need to do moving forward. I'm going to deal with, it's a big document, I'm only going to deal with the part that deals with the PPA because of time purpose. So I'm just going to go through that document quickly. Section D is speaking about Provincial People's Assembly. It says for a Provincial People's Assembly to happen, a minimum of 90% of what's in the province should have gone to their branch People Assembly or branch General Assembly and elect a branch command teams and elect the delegate to the PPA. Number 2, the Provincial People's Assembly shall be constituted by delegates from all branches of the EFF in good standing and all RCT members as delegates. Number 3, the audit on the validity of the BPA and BGA will be conducted by the team from the Central Command team and will strictly monitor and assess whether the BPA or BGAs happen within the stipulated period and whether all people whose signature are on the attendance register attend the BGA or the BPA. 4, once the CCT audit team is satisfied that all requirements have been met for the convening of the Provincial People's Assembly, and the Secretary General writes a letter to the province, summon the convening of the Provincial People's Assembly, which should necessarily be presided by a member of the Central Command team. Number 5, the PPA must strictly adhere to the following. Number 1, 5.1. An attendance register comprises of the list of elected delegates from branches and the RCT members. 5.2, a quorum of 70% plus 1 of the elected delegates from the branches. 5.3, provincial chairperson present a political report, the provincial secretary an organizational report, the provincial treasurer must present the financial report or the treasurer's report. 5.6, the democratic elections of the provincial command team is comprises of the chairperson, deputy chairperson, secretary, deputy secretary, and treasurer, plus the 20 additional members. Number 6, a minimum of 50% of the PCT shall be females, meaning that 13 females shall constitute the total of 25 members of the PCT. Number 7, in the instance where there is contestation, voting shall be a secret ballot in a transparent and open processes which should be observed by a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 7 delegates to the PPA. Number 8, elected provincial chairperson and provincial secretary will be members of the central command team. 9, PCT that fail to reach 90% of the wards with branches of the EFF in the region within a set period shall be automatically be dissolved and replaced by the interim leadership corps led by the CCT members, which will reach the threshold and present a consolidated report to the PPA. Number 10, members who are eligible are prohibited to participate in the PPAs. 11, no serving member of the CCT shall be permitted to avail themselves for any position in the PCT. 12, the leader of upper structure are not allowed to contest in the lower structure. Very important. Number 13, leadership of higher structure who want to contest for the elected position in the lower structure must resign 3 months before the said elective conference. Number 14, all EFF staff members are not allowed to stand for any elected position during the assembly. 15, staff members who want to contest for elected position must resign 3 months before the said conference. 16, the EFF constitution under section 11 subsection 3 state that in order for the eligible for election to the respected EFF structure, an individual must have been a member of the EFF for at least the following periods. 16.1, for CCT members, you must be a member of EFF for 3 years. PCT member, you must at least be a member for 2 years. Point 3 says for RCT, at least 12 months. And for the BCT, 6 months. Key dates for the implementation of these guidelines. We know all those dates. Let me specifically deal with Northwest. It was from the 1st May to the 31st of July where the BCT, the BPA and BGAs must sit. And for the PPA to sit, it was between the 2 and the 4th. So we are still on date for that. F says nomination for the provincial command team. All branches have the right through their BPAs and BGAs to discuss the leadership question and nominate individuals they deem suitable for the leadership role of the EFF at all levels. Number 2, branch retain the right to canvass and be canvassed on their choice of leadership. Nomination procedure, that is number G. Number 1 under G. Only voting delegates representing branches, regions, and provincial command teams have the rights to nominate and vote in the Provincial People's Assembly. Number 2, only voting delegates representing branches and RCT members have the rights to nominate and vote in the PPA. Number 3, in nomination team for the top 5, a 30% threshold of the voting delegate in a provincial people assembly should support the name or individual nominated for the name or individual to be included on the ballot paper. So we need a threshold of 30%. And in nominating for the additionals, A 25% threshold of the voting delegates in the PPA should support the name or individual nominated for the name or individual to be included in the ballot paper. This time is 25% for the additionals. In the instant, there is more than one name qualifying for ballot paper, the Electoral Commission shall prepare a ballot paper that includes the correct identification of names or individuals nominated for the respected position. 6. All voting for position in the Provincial People's Assembly will be by a secret ballot, and counting of vote that shall be manually. Election Commission shall, number 1, be presided by a CCT deployee to the province and comprises of all CCT deployees plus a designated staff members. 2, prepare the ballot paper as directed by the Constitution. 3, make adequate preparation for voting by secret ballot, including the provision of ballot box and the setting up of the machinery for the effective supervision and counting of votes. Let's go. Number 4, establish further procedures for voting and handle any dispute that may rise. 5, announce the result of all ballots. 6, chairperson of the Electoral Commission shall verify the names of all candidates are accurately captured on the ballot paper and signed off before they can be printed. 7, only CCT member will form part of the steering committee of the PPA, code of conduct and general guidelines. I'm still long. Let's go. Discipline in the revolution is not a side issue, but is essential ingredient and component of the EFF, of what the EFF seeks to achieve. And without discipline and hard work, all the objectives and aspirations of the EFF will not be achieved. 2, under the code of conduct, no leader in the EFF shall occupy more than one position in various levels of the organization, meaning that no one can be a branch and a regional leader at the same time, or a regional leader and a provincial leader at the same time, or and provincial leader and national leader at the same time. Upon resumption of the position on a different level, whoever is elected loses their previous position in the organization. 3, during the period, no member of EFF should be suspended or expelled without the knowledge or approval of the whole council, and no structure of the EFF shall be disbanded or dissolved without the knowledge and approval of whole council. 4, the following should constitute wrongful lobbying practice and unacceptable way of influencing leadership election process. 4.1, raising or using funds or other resources to campaign for election. Distributing money for EFF member and structures as part of campaigning for leadership election. Production of t-shirt, posters, and other paraphernalia to promote a particular list of candidates. Promising position or incentive or threatening to withhold such as a means of gaining support. 4.5, use the media to promote a particular list of candidates and to spread malicious rumors and falsehood or allegation against those whom you disagree. 4.6, leaking confidential information to the media, secret interaction with the journalists to get them to write stories on internal organizational issues, or communicating internal decision or processes to the media without due authorization. 4.6. No, I've done 4.6. 4.7. Negative campaigning which relates to attack on the integrity of other comrades, both within the structure of the movement and in other forums. Suppressing honesty and legitimate debate about the culprits of candidates in a formal meeting of the movement. 4.8. Manipulating membership figure or engaging in a fraudulent membership recruitment practice. 4.9. Misleading the audit committee that assemblies achieve a quorum even when they did not reach that particular quorum. 10. Conducting signature of members from their homes for the branch people assembly or branch general assembly and presenting a picture that they attended the meeting while they did not attend those particular meetings. 11. Allowing structure or individual to condone violation of constitutional provisions and or regulations and or failing to report such violation when they occur. Using the office, resources, staff or of the EFF or any institutions or companies as a machinery to promote a particular list of candidates. Using violence, intimidation, and threats to force those who hold a different view. Setting an upper structure outside the organization to promote or lobby for a particular candidate. Convening a meeting to discuss leadership issues under the false pretext that they are organized and constitutional structures. Number 16, production of and distribution of documents, pamphlets not approved by the structure of the organization will not be allowed. Using social network such as Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter will not be allowed to campaign for a position in the EFF. 18. EFF members nominated for the leadership position in the PCT must actively and vehemently discourage anyone from using their names to campaign for leadership position. 19. No EFF CCT member is permitted to publicly or secretly canvass for the election of any member of the EFF into PCT. Discipline. That is J. I'm finishing. Just be patient. Number J. Under J, we have number 1 until number 8. Discipline says the CCT will establish a special national disciplinary committee to swiftly deal with misconduct and violation of Assembly's rules. The CCT shall put in place security protocols for all PPAs, and any member who violated those protocols shall be subjected to disciplinary processes. The SNDC, which is the Special National Disciplinary Committee, shall constitute a disciplinary hearing of all members who violated the Constitution, Code of Conduct, and guideline within 48 hours of the violation. 4. EFF members who are engaged in misconduct and or violate the Constitution, Code of Conduct, and rules of this guideline will be summarily suspended from all organizational activities. 5. All dispute of the branch people assembly, branch general assembly, regional people's assembly, provincial people's assembly must be lodged by members within 48 hours of the BPA, BGA, RPA, and PPA, and this must be strictly be lodged by individual members or BCTs, not by any grouping of people not established by the Constitution, of the EFF. No dispute lodged after 48 hours since the BPA, BGA, RPA, PPA will be permitted. All disputes must be sent to the Secretary General via the following contact details, which is effdispute@gmail.com. The War Council is permitted to make changes to this guideline and must appraise the CCT for concurrence. Thank you very much. In conclusion, the EFF entered a critical stage of organizational building, and all members are expected to exercise maximum discipline and ensure that all that happens is aimed at ultimately attaining the economic freedom fight in our lifetime. Maximum discipline and adherence to the above-mentioned processes and guidelines will bear maximum fruits. Amanda! Amanda! Down, Garama dollar, down! Down, Garama million, down! Panti, Garama posa, down, panti! Pabili, mo EFF, pabili! Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Commissar Matsitela is a doctor by profession in the EFF. We are funded. So Dr. Matsitela is sent by the SG to come and reinforce us because one of our commissars is not in good state of health, Commissar Letitia. So that's why we are having him here, fighters. Thank you very much, Doctor. Fighters, let us proceed with our program. Now let me invite the chairperson of the province to come and give us a political report. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, former DSG, National Chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Commissar Veronica Mente, Convener of Deployees to the Northwest Province, Commissar Thengiwe Mkhalipi, Commissar Chigo Mkonazi, Commissar Matsetela, the Provincial Command Team members, the Regional Command Team members, the Student Command, Ground Forces and Delegate of the EFF, Northwest 3rd Provincial Assembly, receive our heartful and revolutionary greetings.
Sorry, Chair, to disturb you. I notice a hand from Credo. What is it, my man?
Is it working? This mic on, so please.
Speak, my man.
Thank you very much. My name is Fighter Credo Mokhosi from Janala region. I'm a member of the RCT. Nagari Chairperson, we are dealing with reports. The first report is political report. The second report is organizational report. Sitting here as delegates, we don't have reports with us. Or the reports are just going to be read to us and it's done. Because we must have reports with us so that we can make notes thoroughly of reports we are going to be given as and when we renew the mandate of the organization. Thank you.
Okay, no, sorry. You comrades, you like to clap hands, ne? Man. I just read you rules of engagement. You just went straight and broke the rules. There's no clapping of hands. He's just raising a point. Let me clarify that point. A political report of the chair is not available in terms of copies. But I'll persuade the chair to make it available afterwards. It's just a political overview what is happening. The organizational report of the secretary, the provincial secretary, it is available. It will be distributed to you. Thank you very much, my man. Let's proceed, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Commissar Mkhalipi, the National Chairperson of the Economic Freedom Fighters, Commissar Veronica Mente, Convener of Deployees, Commissar Thengiwe Mkhalipi, Commissar Chigo, Mkonazi Komisa Matsetela, the provincial command team members, the regional command team members, the student command, ground forces and delegate of the EFF in the Northwest Province, Third Provincial People's Assembly, receive our heartfelt and revolutionary greetings. Today marks a 4th year since the inauguration of the second provincial team of the Northwest Province. Though we intend to give a clear picture of where we stand in relation to the politics of the Northwest Province. In the year 2018, we were elected at the time where opposition parties in the province were yet skeptical or reluctant to confront the ruling party in the province. However, the youth, the unemployed, the marginalized, the homeless, the economically downtrodden, and all who wishes to have access to quality freedom, free education, housing, electricity, and sustainable livelihood identify themselves without any doubt with the EFF. It became evident with the support we got to enjoy in the past 4 years of our tenure of leadership. The EFF founding value are now deeply entrenched in our society. A lot has changed since the last PPA. A party which is militancy, robustness, and radical policy were confused to be anarchy. We continue to wage a war against gender-based violence, crime, corruption, unemployment, poverty, and equality. We are writing a history of fighting against racism. The Northwest Province is well known for its robust in the field of politics and equally infamous for its provincial government, both neglecting and stealing from the prominently poor masses who are resident to this naturally well province. This has provided the perfect environment for the undeniable and unstoppable revolutionary movement, which is the economic freedom fighters, to build a home and prove itself to be the single best solution to the inhuman and sickening challenges our people have been made to believe that there are a normal quality of life. Over the past 4 years, the EFF in the Northwest Province has encountered a number of challenges and resistance from both outside and within the provincial organization. The resistance from the enemies of the progress, who have been unshamingly benefiting from robbing our people of services they are entitled to and sinking them deeper and deeper into poverty, was both predictable and expected, because that is the very reason for the establishment of this 26 movement. This is exactly what we are here to fight and liberate our people from. However, National Chairperson and fellow fighters, it is strongly shocking, convening behavior of leaders elected into influential position of this organization to spearhead and facilitate the likes of the growth and the unity within the organization that has caught us off guard over the past 4 years. We have witnessed leaders who declare their inability to financially assist the organization with the arrangement of political events throughout the province, pledge suspicious amount of money on the establishment of lobby groups with the aim of destabilizing and dividing the organization. Thousands of fighters wake up every morning to build and defend this organization daily on an empty stomach, yet we have peoples amongst our ranks who are committed to the destruction of this movement. Throughout those splashing of money to entrench lobby group instead of the organization, a cancer of this nature, national chairperson and fellow fighters must never be accepted and allowed to grow as part of our beloved movement. There are people by Lungore, they have lost during the processes to elect the councillors. The same people by Lungore, they have joined these tax shop, Action SA and other political parties. Same people, they are all over, harassing our delegates here. So we are saying to those people, Brenda Khatu, Baby and others, you are not members of the EFF. You have defined yourself outside this organization. And whoever leader here, when we associate with those people, that person, division in this organization. National chairperson and fellow fighters. It is also within this 4 years tenure, from 2013 to date, that we have witnessed a necessity chance takers who thought that they could manipulate the process of the organization without being caught and were left dumbfounded when the CCT took the decisive action against them. These are hard lessons to those who joined the organization of the EFF for personal gains and other malicious intention to have learned, because we have committed to doing everything humanly possible to grow this organization and make economic freedom in our province a reality in our lifetime. Fighters, Northwest is a small rural province which is economical activity solely rely on mining activities and agricultural activities. These mainstream economic activities are to this day still dominated by the few minority in our province. The economic participation of our citizens is divided through the racial line, as we continue to see white people be given more opportunities than black people. We must never be shy to tell the people of the Northwest that the ANC is a security guard organization for the white monopoly capital. This assertion was recently confirmed by this old visionless Premier Bushimayev, who he handed over the buildings and the maintenance of the road in the Northwest province to Koperasi through the draconian memorandum of understanding that is still hiding from the public. Fighters, Northwest has more than 70% of its people living below poverty margins, with a heartbreaking unemployment rate of more than 40%. The young people of the Northwest are today languishing in drugs and vulnerable to suicide, as they have no hope for tomorrow. The formation of the EFF was inspired by the lack of appetite by the current government to redress the injustice of the past, yet it seems like we are lacking political will to close the vacuum. The assembly must note that nature does not allow vacuum, because once it's created, opportunistic organizations such as Action SA find expression as they survive on the confusion of the masses of our people. We are tasked with ensuring that opportunistic elements that strive through confusion and division of Africans must never find expression. Fighters, the EFF is an internationalist organization. We are not a regionalism organization. Hence, as the fighters, we must never ever find ourselves falling into this trap of xenophobic, misguided adherence, saying that Africans are criminals or Africans are taking jobs belonging to South Africa. All these pressure groups and individuals who continue to utter their nonsensical remarks are hired guns of the whiteness to further distract and divide the agenda of oneness among Africans. The agenda of free trade amongst African countries must be a live reality of our generation. We ought to realize a beardless African and demonstrate to the entire world that Africa is more influential than any other continent when it comes to the mineral resources. Africa is the richest country when it comes to the mineral resources, yet there is no material benefit to prove such. We continue to be stripped of a resource throughout the disguise of investors. Today, our black brothers are stripped, naked, and abused in front of young kids because they are described as zamazamas by the government that once visited them, visited these scales farmers and committed to formalize these activities. You ought to understand that anything that seeks to threaten white monopoly capital shall forever demonized and present as a criminal activities in a quest to defocus us in finding different ways to participate in mainstream economy. Fighters, Kenya has recently concluded their election, even though it was filled with a lot of unpleasant events. The people of Kenya have a moral duty to not only protect their leaders, but equally to protect their country from infiltrations through sponsored anarchy. We have in recent times seen a lot of instability taking place in most of SADC countries. While some of this instability are genuine, others are fueled by outside forces in a quest to take over the control of mineral resources in those countries. It is a reality that the riots and fights in Mozambique are sponsored by outside forces. Hence, we saw the Rwandan military being the first to be in Mozambique, followed by the visit of the President of France. We have seen the same exercise being followed in other African countries where the West continued to deploy its force to to steal the resource of our continent. Fighters, the EFF is growing at an uncontrollable rate throughout the continent as the Commander-in-Chief and the President of the Economic Freedom Fighters continue to inspire the agenda of borderless Africa. We dare not fall. We dare not fail all these Africans whom sees us as their last hope to deliver them from oppression. It must never be our generation that fails the people of Eswatini who are oppressed by the perverted and abusive boy called Muswati. This assembly has a duty to guide the organization on a strategies to be employed by the organization and squeeze Muswati out of power. We have seen this criminal syndicate that Muswati is exploring to try to scare us through death, while he is failing to understand that a revolution is a dead human being who's no fear but the liberation of his or her people. The president of Namibia must know that no jail term for fighters in Namibia is going to discourage them to fight the establishment. The government of Liberia must know that they can't use jail as a scarecrow for fighters. We must, as an assembly, reflect on what is to be done to intensify the struggle for the total liberation of Africa. Fighters, the EFF is only 9 years old, but continue to be the threat to the establishment. Even though we are guided by this old former liberation movement, we must never fall into a trap of people telling us how to fight them. We must be side by side with our African brothers and sisters, root out and protect them from this bloodthirsty Operation Dudula and Action SA. We dare not fail. Fighters, there is no other organization except the EFF in the Northwest. Our inability to appreciate such is the sole reason that we are struggling to take power from this dead which called the ANC. There is no normal functioning organization that can host a provincial conference over 2 weeks. This is a pure sign of the last kicking of a dying horse. Like the Commander-in-Chief has stated before, in the Northwest, the EFF is defeated by Holy Spirit because we are more focused on each other than building this precious organization. We are more focused on lobby groups than lobbying for the EFF. This assembly must ensure that the organization emerges victoriously and is more united than ever before. We saw this possibility of taking over the Northwest when ANC members voted for the EFF in Dr. Rusu Mumpati District Municipality. We equally saw it at Mamusa Local Municipality, with the ANC councillors voting for the EFF to take over the position of the Speaker of the municipality. It seems like there is some right that is being done by the regional chairperson and regional secretary of Dr. Rusu Mumpati, which we are failing to do as a whole. I am saying this because if equally so, Dr. Rusu Mumpati is the only region that has by far reached its regional target for the 1 million membership program. This is the same region which was the first to reach its 90% of launch branches in this country. Instead of suffering from political jealousy, we ought to reflect on what is that they are doing correct, that we are failing to do. The regional chairperson of Dr. Russo Party Fighter Tebogo Babuile, together with his collective, deserve flowers. To all the fighters who love and intentions for the organization has remained pure. As the outgoing leadership of the EFF in the Northwest, we would like to acknowledge you as well. It is because of your hard work, dedication, and respect for the guidance of your leaders that we are able to accomplish all that we have over the past 4 years. You are endured long days in the sun and sleepless night with us when circumstances were unfavorable and you were required to do so. You traveled long distance across the province despite the economical instability in the country and the hikes in petrol price to ensure that our planned programs succeed and that the respect and the integrity the EFF has gained remain intact. This is the reason we are able to successfully navigate and grow through the politics and the governance instability created by Suprama's fall campaign in 2018 when we were elected. The province was up in arms during this period with the community members standing up against the blinded service delivery failure by the provincial government of the time, which led to the invocation of Section 100 of the Constitution, intervention into the province by national government. As it were, shops were being looted, roads were barricaded with rocks and burning tires, and towns in the province were experiencing total shutdown. Ke tsaya tšhono ena go le leboga, more especially the deputy secretary and the secretary of the province for the past 3 weeks, where ke ne ke ba tsentse pressure ya go netefatsa gore re bona this assembly is successful. I will call them at night and say, are you sure gore eng di patetse? Without go hesitate, re mo gampieno ka ntlheng ya se ba se dirileng. Ke tsaya tšhono ena ba gaetsho go le leboga ke re a re netefatseng gore between now and 2024, EFF e tla le victorious in the Northwest Province. Amandla!
Amandla. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Amandla. Amandla there, the back. Dr. Ruth. Okay. Thank you very much, Chair, for the political overview. Now is the time for the organizational report from the PS. Maybe let us move 1 or 2 songs because the copies that are available are not enough for all of us. But in no minute, all copies will be here. I'll share up Dr. Ruth. EFF. EFF. Socialism.
Socialism. Yo, EFF. Azafuna mabotwa. Azafuna makepitale. Tina sifusa nge socialism. Socialism. Yo, EFF. Abanye abantu abayazi. Abanye abantu abayifuni. Abanye abantu abayazi. Yazi. Yo, EFF. Azafuna mabotwa. Azafuna makepitale. Tina sipusha nge socialism. Socialism. Yo, EFF. Amandla.
I sing, my man, sing.
Tio, Tio. Tio, Mama, Tio. Tio, Tio.
Ngaka, can you sing? Upu Beyonce.
Time and space, time and space.
Doyega go shabalala. Doyega.
Anoika,
Doyega go shabalala.
Harinoika, Noika, no. Anoika, Hareka, Yeka, Muka, Pitalaga, join a socialism. Noika, no shabalala. Hareka, Yeka, Muka, Pitalaga, join a socialism. Noika, no shabalala. Harinoika, Noika, no. Hanoika,
Doyega go shabalala.
Harinoika, Noika, no. Hanoika, Heliri, how many days a week? Days a week,
How many
days a week. Heliri, how many days a week? Days a week,
7
days a week.
7 days.
Heberi hakiswa, Liskelantaka, Taya Miliwame, Luisa Haye Gerla. Liskelantaka, Taya Miliwame, Luisa Heberi Gerla Kichima, Kichima Gerla, Gerla Kichima, I Kichima Gerla. How Kichima Gerla, Gerla Kichima, Kichima, everywhere I die. Don't throw me away. Take my body home to my people, Kerala. Don't throw me away. Take my body home to my people. Every moya muya fuma, fuma moya wame, moya muya fum. I fuma moya wame. Oh yo yo, oh yo yo.
Oh, Tio. Tio, Mama, Tio. Tio, Tio. Tio ishubile. Tio ihlangene.
Gio,
Sibona lesi nja.
Gio,
Sinjasa amaphulu.
Gio.
Tio, Tio. Helelani bo.
Elela.
Lanuma le muguti kongolo sikolo. Oh, highway toto. Tengamaiza. Helelani bo.
Elela.
Lumale muguti kongolo sikoloze. Oh, highway toto. Tengamaiza. Kamazu 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 Aibu kamuge upepe la Tengamaiza Kamazu 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 ukamugeza upepe la Tengamaiza Helelani bo
Elela.
Lumale muguti kongolo sikolo Oh highway toto Tengamaiza Kamazu 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 ukamugeza upepe la Tengamaiza Kamazu 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 ukamugeza upepe la Tengamaiza Kaubabuze Kaubabuze Hewo Kaubabuze Hekutheni besidelela kanga. Uze khawuba buze. Hebo khawuba buze. Uze khawuba buze. Hekutheni besidelela kanga. Uze khawuba buze. Heyo khawuba buze. Izo khawuba buze. Hello khawuba buze. Uze khawuba buze. Hekutheni besidelela kanga. Uze khawuba buze. Heyo khawuba buze. Uze khawuba buze. Hebo khawuba buze. Uze khawuba buze. Hekutheni besidelela kanga. Khawuba buze. Hawubuyisani fire brigade.
Uyasha.
Hewuyasha. Hawubuyisani fire brigade.
Uyasha.
Hewuyasha. Hewuyatshe Northwest madoda.
Uyasha.
Hewuyatsha.
Uyasha.
Engezane fire brigade.
Uyasha.
Heli fire brigade. Hobizane fire brigade. Fire brigade. Hewuyatshe Northwest madoda. Hewuyatsha. Hobizanile fire brigade.
Uyasha.
Hewuyatsha. EFF ingene ndaweni. Uyatsha. Hewubizane fire brigade. Hewuyatsha. Hewubizane fire.
Amanda. Amanda. I know the spirit is high now. But we have to receive this report from PS because it must paint the picture of our organization. Before I allow the PS to take us through on the state of the organization, I just want to announce about toilets. It has come to our attention that these toilets are not enough for us that side. So we are engaging the municipality to open other toilets that side. Please bear with us, fighters. So now, can we all be settled? Because after this session of PS, you guys or you comrades, fighters, ground forces, we must engage with all reports, starting from the national chair, political overview by the chair of the province, and the provincial secretary organizational reports. PS, the floor is yours.